Hi, my name is Danielle. I graduated from UNT just last year in May 2020 with my bachelor's degrees in anthropology and history, as well as a minor in Spanish. So I had the great pleasure of kind of being the guinea pig for doing online classes, graduating, and trying to get a job in the middle of a pandemic. So I feel for you guys who might be struggling a little bit on worrying about that. But I have been working at Fujitsu Network Communications in Richardson, Texas since September of last year. So it's kind of early in my own career, but I hope that it means I can help provide some insight into what it's like to be job searching on the current market with an applied anthropology background. So my company, Fujitsu Network Communications, is actually an offshoot of the larger Japan-based Fujitsu conglomerate. They create all sorts of different technologies. They've been around for decades. But FNC specifically focuses on supplying hardware, software, and different kinds of services to telecommunications companies, mostly across the Americas. So some big names you might know, AT&T, Verizon, CenturyLink. We also have customers that end up being like state governments. So they might go into like the transit systems or things like that. So my job in order management, as kind of a general thing, is to help keep our supply chain sophisticated and reliable on a day-to-day basis. So on the surface, that doesn't really sound like a job for an anthropologist, right? But it is. Many different businesses with complex supply chains like Fujitsu really like having people who have those skills you can get from studying applied anthropology. Now, why is that? Well, anthropologists help keep human relationships and ethics at the forefront of our business approach. So if you're striving to have a customer-centric perspective, like which is in part of Fujitsu's corporate philosophy, actually, um, you want people who are concerned about your customer and concerned about them as a person, concerned with everybody who's involved in the process. Plus, when you're in the world of globalized business, your supply chain and even just the employees at your own company can be stretched across multiple countries, even continents. So in those cases, the ability to communicate and problem solve with a lot of different kind of people from a lot of different backgrounds really becomes one of the most important factors in your ability to do any kind of business. On top of that, the field of logistics and the telecom industry are both dealing with a whole new host of challenges created by COVID-19. The massive switch to virtual everything and the reliance on like super fast shipping to avoid leaving home creates a lot of potential for growth in these fields, but it also means that supply chains and companies are suddenly under a lot of extra strain and expectations. So, in order to match those, they need to be able to reevaluate all of their systems and resources to make sure that they're handling the change and they're handling it well. So Fujitsu is one company that has been kind of doing this actually for a couple of years. They've been switching mindset from providing just a product to spending more time getting to know a client's needs and then working to provide a complete solution through this careful combination of products, service projects, and technical support. But in order to be able to successfully provide those comprehensive solutions, you need to have people on your team who know how to analyze complex systems in the context of the people who use them so that you can come up with a solution that will benefit all the stakeholders. And I mean, that's what applied anthropology is really all about. So even though I had pretty little background in logistics and telecom, I got hired because my undergraduate career in anthropology gave me a lot of relevant soft skills, things that you can't really just learn on the job, like with some of those other hard skills. And most importantly, I was able to explain exactly what those skills were, why they were relevant to the position, and how they worked in tandem with hard skills I already had or things that I knew they could teach me very easily. So, for example, with these anthropology skills, if you do participant observation enough, what you're really developing are strong active listening and communication skills. And you become really comfortable with analyzing and adapting to new situations on the fly. That's a useful skill to have in basically every aspect of life. It makes you a lot more flexible, makes you like a faster learner, It just really is very beneficial. Plus, doing ethnographies and applied anthropology projects, especially, these things train you in statistical analysis and how to conduct meaningful qualitative research, which not a lot of people know how to do, I will point out, using surveys and different kinds of interviews. Um, you're trained to examine human interactions with that understanding of cultural context and nuance to everything. And all of that makes you not just a good team player, but it makes you someone who pays attention to the details when you're interacting with other people and trying to analyze human behavior in relation to system and processes that we create for ourselves. And these skills, they're not just me trying to play lip service. They're all skills I actually use every day in my job. My day to day is processing and managing all purchase orders we receive for equipment or services to those third party resellers. And then, they go on to the final end customer. So not only am I in charge of making sure that everything gets entered correctly, that, everything's getting there on time, it's shipping out, there's no problems. Um, Not only am I in charge of those kind of like specific technical things, I'm also the customer's first point of contact whenever they have any kind of question or concern about any part of their order. Um, it also means that I end up being the primary liaison for all of Fujitsu's internal departments that have a stake in the order. So manufacturing, purchasing, shipping, there's like 4 different kinds of salespeople that I talk to on a daily basis. Legal, import, export, accounting, services. I could really go on. They all have different priorities and information about an order that I have to be able to navigate and quickly problem solve and figure out what's really going on. What do people really want and how do we get there? And sometimes that problem solving is just knowing who are the right people to put into a conversation with each other. And that's a skill in itself. um, so on a larger scale, the other key part of my job is to always be analyzing our current supply chain processes on the day to day, and also larger ones about how we interact with a customer on like as a whole, and trying to identify pitfalls, ways that we can improve communication, um, lessen errors, and just make everything run smoother and make everyone's lives easier. Not just an OM, but for everyone that's involved in our logistics. And this, and then, I don't just say, oh, we have a problem here, but I have to be part of the solution. If I'm going to bring up a problem, then I need to be someone who is saying, well, here's the problem. Here's how I think we can solve it, and working with other departments to get that done. Because it's rarely just something that, oh, we just need to change something in OM. It's usually something where you have to work with other Fujitsu departments. You have to work maybe with your shipping companies, or you have to work with the departments in your own customer's company. So that is just kind of a snapshot of what I do with my anthropology degree. If you have any questions about my job, the industries I work in, how I use my anthropology skills, or if you just want some specifics on job searching and maybe how I talked my way into a job that I didn't totally seem qualified for immediately, please feel free to join my Q&A session. I would love to chat about any questions that you have. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the expo.